David Ellison loves DC and James Gunn, but why didn't James Gunn show up to the meeting the other day? Before we get into that, we're going to talk about some things such as Peacemaker, winning an award, and we're also going to talk about, hey, what's going on with movie theaters and how the truth and the facts behind what are going on with the movie theaters actually have affected box office expectations from studios. So let's first get into this. Peacemaker, that is right, everybody's favorite foul-mouthed hero from HBO Max, won a Saturn Award the other day for the best superhero television series. It's phenomenal. Look, people don't understand that DC is on a winning streak right now. It's seeing success after success in many different ways, not just financially, but from the appreciation and the excitement that the fans have to winning awards like this. This is a fantastic thing to see. Unfortunately, James Gunn was unable to attend the award ceremony because, well, he's off preparing to shoot a little movie called Man of Tomorrow. I'm excited about this. I think this is great news. Does that mean we're going to get another season of Peacemaker? Probably not. But that's just highlighting and showing, hey, look, we have really good content already with DC. Yeah, this one's on the adult side of things. That's fine. Lanterns, which is coming out in a few months, is also more on the adult side of things. But then you have things like Supergirl, Superman, that are out there, that will be out there, that fit a whole family perspective. So again, this is great to see. Love to see DC succeeding and having wins. It's been a long time coming, but it's happening and it's great to see. Next up, I do want to talk about this and not move too far away from it. Peter Safran, co-president of DC Studios, was present during David Ellison's visit to Warner Brothers Discovery. He also was there to discuss what the likelihood and what the future of the new company looks like. He also stated, David Ellison that is, that he expects to close the acquisition of Paramount over Warner Brothers in the third quarter of 2026. That's not what is the most exciting part about this, okay? So this I took from comicbookmovie.com, and it sees that there was an attendee who decided to talk about what was discussed by David Ellison. He said the meeting felt, or he or she, I'm not sure, said the meeting felt perfunctory, with Ellison full of platitudes and not much more. He really didn't read the room and sidestepped any real talk of layoffs. I've been a part of acquisitions from companies coming over, taking over companies, new management teams coming in, things like that. I've been part of that a couple times now. This isn't anything new. I remember the latest one that it happened with, I literally raised my hand and asked a question saying, hey, with the redundant positions out there, what's going to happen? What will happen to these redundant departments and positions? And all they had to say was, we're still taking a look to see what we're going to do about that. Eventually, we are now 2.5, 3 years since that happened, and I was laid off. So there you see, that kind of stuff happens, and they're not going to tell you those things up front immediately because they need to sit down and really get a scope and understand what's going on with the companies. But that's not the part that I really want to talk about here, because what I really, really want to talk about is this. Another person said that Ellison leaned into theatrical more than when Netflix, Ted Sarandos, spoke to the executives back in December. That is a great thing to hear. People have been crying and saying, we want movies in theaters. If Netflix takes over, they're going to ruin theaters. Even though, look, my stance still is where it is. Netflix isn't the reason why theaters are dying. It's a play a part in it, sure, but they're not the main reason. And if they would have taken over Warner Brothers Discovery, again, I think it would have probably been more beneficial for them to take it over from that regard. But regardless, let's move on. This person also said that Ellison name checked DC twice, that he loves DC. Okay, so a lot of people are reading into this as, well, James Gunn is obviously safe. James Gunn's not going anywhere. Everything's peachy keen, and we're going to be great and have fun and have a good time, holding hands, skipping stones, all of that kind of stuff. But fact of the matter is, he's talking highly of DC because it is an important IP when it comes to acquiring Warner Brothers. Very much so. It is very important. Here's the fact of the matter. He's going to take over. He's going to take a look at things. Is it viable to continue with James Gunn and Peter Safran? Is it viable to have an Elseworld? Should we have more Elseworlds? That's the kind of stuff they're going to look at on the grand scope and grand scale of everything. Here's the thing, though. James Gunn is safe right now. He's not going anywhere. He's making Man of Tomorrow. He's prepping the future of the DCU. Things like that. It's all moving forward as normal. It doesn't mean it can't change in the future. If Supergirl flops, if Clayface flops, if Lanterns doesn't do well on HBO Max, if Man of Tomorrow doesn't do well, well, yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to change. Things are going to happen, and there's going to have to be a change. But here's the thing. His love for DC could just be that he loved Superman. Could be that he loved the DCEU. Could be that he's just a big Batman fan. We don't know the intricacies of it. So if you're on one side saying, oh, this is great news for James Gunn, you're kind of misreading what's being said here. If you're on the other side saying, whoa, this means James Gunn's gone because he's going to bring back the Snyderverse, well, you're misreading it also. Because nothing here states either one of those. It just states that, hey, he understands that Superman was a big part of Warner Brothers' success in 2025. Yes, that is a fact. That is true. It is a big part of the success. And you can see, look, I think he's hopeful, just as David Zaslav, James Gunn, Peter Safran are, that DC, the success continues. We just talked about Peacemaker winning an award. That's great. People loved it. People liked it. But we need to see that success continued on forward. And I think that's where David Ellison is taking a look at all this. So, yeah, it's great that he loves DC. But here's the crazy thing. People lost their minds, this coming from that Park Place, saying James Gunn skips first Warner Brothers meeting with David Ellison despite DC focus. Folks, the same reason why James Gunn didn't go to the Saturn Awards to accept an award for a show that he made and created is the same reason why he wasn't here. He's off making and planning to make Man of Tomorrow. I mean, come on. Get real here, people. Get real. It's not a big deal that James Gunn's not there. Peter Safran, that's why there's co-heads of the studio. Because one deals with the day-to-day business side of things, Peter Safran, and the other is more on the creative side. And guess what? He's off being creative right now. It's not a bad thing. People need to relax and calm down. If you game on the go, this is for you. This is the S3 Sling Bag, and it's basically a stealth backpack for gamers. Switch, Steam Deck, ROG Ally, boom, slides right in. No bulky backpack, no awkward carrying case, just clean, simple, and portable. Hard shell exterior, soft padded interior. Your gear stays protected while you're moving. Plus, you've got room for cables, accessories, and everything you actually need. Throw it over your shoulder and go. Perfect for travel, perfect for friends' houses, perfect for daily carry. This thing looks slick and feels premium. And I love that it doesn't scream gamer backpack. It's low-key, it's modern, it's clean. And right now, if you head over to Coops.com and use code SlavsFreeTalk, you will get 15% off. That's instant savings. So, if you actually care about your handheld, protect it. Carry smarter. Game anywhere. Head to Coops.com, COOWPS.com. Use SlavsFreeTalk for the coupon code for an extra 15% off. Get the Coops S3 Sling Bag, built for gamers on the move. Variety came out with an article the other day that was very, very interesting. Specifically, their article is about what is going on with theaters right now in the world. They had a study done that said, they didn't have a study, but Pew, there was a study called Pew Study. According to Pew Study, that half of Americans went to a movie theater in 2025. Now, look, we know that the theaters, the box office has dropped, tickets have dropped, attendance has dropped, all that kind of stuff. But this is saying from the Pew Research Center that they conducted a survey in the summer of 2025. So this was done in the summer of 2025. 53% of U.S. adults said they had seen a movie in theaters in the prior 12 months. A small but notable 7% said they've never been to a movie theater at all. That's wild. But these findings reflect that a domestic box office is still fighting to regain its footing since COVID-19, when ticket sales collapsed 81% in 2020 due to the closures. In 2025, moviegoers in the US and Canada brought in 769.2 million tickets, less than half of the all-time peak of roughly 1.6 billion tickets sold in 2002. And this is according to data from the Nash Information Service. Now, what does this mean? Why did I bring this up? Well, I took this and I really wanted to see, like, hey, this is proving a point that I've been trying to make for months and months and months. People love to sit there and say that the superhero genre is dead, or that it's flopping like crazy. Specifically, Superman was a massive flop. That's what people love to say. They said, oh, it didn't succeed. It was not a success, blah, blah, blah. Look, this is why I and so many others stated before the movie even came out that if this movie were to make $550-600 million, that would be a massive success for the studio, because it is a trajectory. It is a long-term battle that they're trying to get in winning the audience back. So if you can have great reception with a decent box office, that's going to go a long way in this day and age. That's what I said. That's what a lot of other people said before the movie even came out. But then the movie came out, and it ended up making $618 million worldwide. And it did fantastically with the domestic box office. So people sitting here trying to say that, hey, this movie flopped, it didn't make the same amount of money as Man of Steel or better than Man of Steel did in 2013, you're missing the point. The fact of the matter is, as I've been saying, theater goers have dropped significantly. Because of that, you have to take a look, and the studios do this, you have to take a look at things a lot differently now to determine what is a success and what isn't a success. The studios understand this. Now, I get that there's fans out there. There's some of you out there who are just like, I want this to be, it needs to do $1 billion, or it needs to do close to $1 billion to be a success. We're not living in 2018 anymore. We're not living in 2019 anymore. Things are vastly different than they were back then. So I wrote this article basically basing it off of all the information that I've collected over the last year or so, plus this new article from Variety with their data, and it truly highlights what has happened. Okay, what has happened? The genre in itself are dealing with a few things. Theater audience is smaller, as well as the novelty of the genre has cooled compared to its peak, which was like 2017, 2016 area, somewhere around there. You also have to take a look at the worldwide gross for these comic book movies in 2023 was about $395 million, and 2024 is around $450 million box office total. That was the average. The average. I get that there are movies out there like Deadpool and Wolverine that, hey, they can make $1 billion. But those are special event films. There are special event films out there that are going to make bank. It happens. Doomsday is going to make bank. Spider-Man, that's an event film. It's going to make bank. Why are those event films and Superman wasn't, or Fantastic Four wasn't? Well, there's a couple of reasons why. One, Superman is a brand new IP essentially when it comes to the big box office. They're trying to win audience members back and win and encourage them to see, hey, this is a new universe. Not only that, but the abysmal DCEU left a terrible taste in everybody's mouths. So you have that going against, and for Superman and DC a little bit, you have to win people back, and they started to. When it comes to something like Fantastic Four, which also struggled this year, the movie wasn't great. I'm not going to sit here and say it was a terrible movie. No, it was an okay film. But then again, you had very loose connections to the MCU, all new characters that we've never seen before in the MCU. And again, it was almost like a new adventure, a new universe within a universe. And you had to win people back into it. Not to mention that the last few Fantastic Four films have not been great. Have not been great. So again, you take a look at things. You have to take a look at things in a more broad sense and understand what is happening. When we get back to the DC side of things with Superman, we understand that, look, things were tough for DC prior to Superman in 2025. The fact that they were able to do what they did is a huge win. Absolutely a huge, huge win. So, personally, I think this is great news. I think that this is something that they can hang their hat on and be proud of. Superman, that is, DC Studios. Superman's done great, did great in box office, great on streaming, great on digital. You can't ask for more than that. Next up, I do want to talk about Supergirl getting a new composer yet again. This is a little odd to me, though, because just a few weeks ago, it was literally like 6-7 weeks ago, maybe a little more than that, we learned that Junkie XL was going to take over the duties of, I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, he was going to take over duties for, Ramin Djawadi, was the person who originally was attached. Then it was Junkie XL or Hulkenborg. He came in, and then now we're seeing Claudia Sarne, or Sarne, I don't know how you say her name, has come on board with Junkie XL, I guess, leaving. What does this mean? I mean, the movie is just a few months away. First off, music for films typically get done with a few months left. That's always one of the last things that get put into a film. The composers sometimes they'll work on it for a little bit if they have an idea. You know, they may be jotting notes down and creating their music prior. And then with the last few months left, that's when they jump in and put the music to film. So the fact that it's just a few months away, that doesn't concern me too much. What concerns me is that this is the third, or really the second change, the third composer, the second change for this film. What is going on? I don't think there's a concern in the fact that, hey, there's an issue with Supergirl. I just think they're not able to get the right tone and the right feel of the music and the score for this movie. Much like what happened with Superman a couple years ago, or last year, when they were making Superman, they changed composers midway through. Now, I don't think that worked out very well for Superman. I feel that the score was lackluster, uninspired. It had a couple good pieces. I know Last Sun, I love that piece, but most of the pieces within that score just didn't feel like great. Like it was just like, it just kind of felt like they were half-assing it almost. I'm a little worried about this. Now, the cool thing about Claudia Sarne, or however you say her name, she is very experienced. She's done this before. But she's married to Atticus Ross, who, I don't know if you know this, is now technically a member of Nine Inch Nails. So Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor have been doing scores for movies for a number of years now. I think their first foray was The Social Network back in, 2010 or whatever that was. And since then, they've done a handful. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Tron, the newest Tron Ares, things like that. They've done some amazing work. Will that like rub off onto her and do some great work that way? I don't know. Maybe not. I'm just looking for them to have a solid score for this movie, and I hope that it actually plays out and goes that way. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this, guys, because honestly, I think when it comes down to it, most people are kind of jumping to conclusions with what's going on with the composer as being, this means the movie is in terrible shape. No, it doesn't. Basically, this just means that they're trying to finely tune and get the right composer in there. I just don't understand why, like, when you listen and you know a composer, so you know what kind of music they do. It could even be that maybe Junkie XL came in and was like, I just don't have time. I thought I have time, but I don't have time. That could happen too. We don't know. Let me know your thoughts on the whole composer thing. Let me know what you guys think about David Ellison's remarks and being a fan of DC and what they're going to do with that. And let me know, hey, are you excited that Peacemaker won a Saturn Award? I think it's great to hear. I think it's great to see, for sure. But then, finally, most importantly, let me know what you guys think about this whole theater thing, where only 50% of Americans actually went to the theater in the last year. And if you believe that, yeah, that's a reason why movies like Superman and others have just struggled in the box office. And it's not even struggling, because $618 million is really freaking good in 2025. But it's not the $1 billion or $800 million that we were seeing just 10 years ago. But let me know your thoughts on all that. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. And with all that said, guys, I'll catch you all later.